What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl, Dr.
Yo,
Shonna.
yo, 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 yo.
I miss you guys. I'm back on the scene. Remember that song? But anyway, we're going to talk Dave Chappelle. We're going to talk Dave Chappelle. I finally got around to making it possible that I can get on here and talk about Dave Chappelle and his comedy and how he managed to piss off some people. I'm not pissed off. In fact, I think a lot of us ain't pissed off. But there are some people among us that are pissed off, right? So this video might piss off some more people, and that is okay. That is okay. But I'm going to explore what Dave Chappelle talked about in his Netflix show Sticks and Stones. So I wouldn't be able to tell you guys if you haven't seen it already. This might be a spoiler alert for some of you guys. No, I have not memorized anybody's damn comedy lines because I ain't about all of that. But I am going to break it down. I did highlight all the stuff that he has talked about. I am going to make mention on that. So I just want you guys to know if you have not already seen it, you may not want to watch this video because I don't care. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about everything. And if you don't want to be spoiled, just keep on scrolling, go somewhere else, and be comfortable. Listen, first of all, I knew Dave Chappelle's show was going to be my type of show when it first opened up. Because if you have not noticed, for all of us who rock the red, the black, and the green, the minute I saw his logo with the red, the black, and the green, I made popcorn. I am not lying to you guys. Yes, baby. I went and I made popcorn because I knew he was going to hurt some feelings. And I was ready. I didn't even hear about it from anybody because I was out of the country. Y'all already know I wasn't here. So I didn't hear about it from anybody. I went on my Netflix. I saw Dave Chappelle's face. And I said, you know what? Let me watch it. When I saw the red, the black, and where's my popcorn? Oh, shoot. I got the popcorn. And then when he opened up with Prince's song, if you listen to the lyrics, because tonight we're gonna party like it's 1990. I love the fact that he opened up with Prince. Because we already know, even though they ruled the killing of Michael Jackson as a homicide, we already know Prince is a homicide too. They just didn't catch the killer. And you guys know how we are in our community. We just know some things. Other people like to pretend like things ain't going down in our community. But I love the fact that Dave Chappelle opened up with Prince's song because Prince knew what was up. He knew what was up. If you listen to his lyrics, forget listening to his lyrics. How about you go and print out his lyrics and read it and take it all in? It seems like a lot of our artists, Michael Jackson, Prince, Tupac, Biggie, a lot of our artists, they already knew what demise was coming their way. And you see, the powers that be, including the government, especially the government, they are very, very strategic and slick how they wipe people out. And we know this. And see, what I loved about Dave Chappelle is you got to be able to, follow along what he's saying. So many people get caught up in his words that they miss the message. You got to follow along with what he's saying because he's putting on a lot of clues to a lot of things. And I think that's part of the reason why Dave Chappelle lays low a lot. He went incognito for a while, and he lays low because he knows how heavy this game is, how this game gets, and you cannot spill the beans. You cannot spill the beans. The minute you start telling the public what's really going on, you lose your life. Now we already know that. I'm telling y'all, go ahead and get your popcorn, okay? Because I'm about to let y'all know. Once he goes on the 1999 Prince song, right? I love that. That was so freaking genius. So genius. He starts talking about Anthony Bourdain and how he had the easiest job in the world, traveling the country, eating great food, but yet he kills himself. in a luxury hotel. I love that he brought that up. Because what Dave Chappelle does, he talks about taboo issues that so many of our people in the industry, whether you are an artist, a comedian, an actor, it doesn't matter. If you are in that world, in that spotlight, so many people are afraid to touch on taboo issues because we have too many people in this world, particularly the Americas, okay, in this world that are some ultra sensitive people. And check this out, brothers and sisters, check this out. The people who are ultra sensitive are the people that are the most vile, nasty, hostile people in the world. Let me say that again. The people who are ultra sensitive are usually the most nasty, vile, hostile, cutthroat, stab you in the back, take your job, take your career, remove your kids, lock you up, take your money, burn your business down, burn your church down. Those people are the most nasty, evil devils in the world, but they're ultra sensitive. How do you explain that? Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. See, what he did was he juxtaposed Anthony Bourdain's suicide against what we go through as Black people. But check this out. If you have not noticed, he has not referred to race, not one iota, in his stand-up comedy. Yeah, he used the word. It's going to be offensive to somebody. I'm not PC. Y'all know I'm not politically correct. I try not to step on people's toes, but sometimes you got to. So he uses the word nigga a lot. And I know some of my old baby boomers, my baby boomers out here, y'all know I love y'all, but I'm going to get on y'all. My baby boomers, they be the ones that be easily offended. Ooh, you using the word nigga, you young people, y'all should be ashamed of yourself, describing yourself like that. But if I recall correctly, baby boomers, if I recall correctly, y'all the one that invented the word for us to be able to use it like that. And what I mean by that is, when I was growing up, with my mother calling people jive turkeys, this nigga must be crazy, I killed this nigga. All these kind of phrases that came out of your generation. So now all of a sudden, we say it, it's a problem. But I love the fact that Dave Chappelle has taken ownership and he used it to describe all people, because like he said in his stand-up, I'm not a nigga. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in a little bit, because I'm going to go in order. But I want you to know that he did not mention black, white, whatsoever. But we know who he was talking about. That is genius. And I love how he do that. A lot of us, we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to talk about the issues, right? So that we all know what we're talking about, but we don't have to necessarily call anybody out. When I say call anybody out, we don't have to necessarily say crackers, devils, or anything like that. We just know what we're talking about. And he's proven the effectiveness of that, in my opinion. And this is my opinion. And when he talked about his friend from that he had ran into, who went to the Ivy League University, look at it. He said Anthony Bourdain killed himself in a hotel. But he goes, he transitioned into another story about his friend who was, we already know he was a black guy. He didn't say a black guy, but we already know he was a black guy, because y'all in this community, we already know what's up. Who went to Ivy League University, went to go study law, got caught up in a relationship with some chick who he had married, even though Dave Chappelle told him not to marry him. The guy eventually got divorced. The woman took half. And he started working at the Foot Locker, right? And he said, but it never dawned on him to kill himself. Now, we have been saying this forever. I mean, the stuff that we as black people, or so-called black people, what I'm going to say, because every time I travel the world, black looks a different shade, but people get to define who they are. And that's why I don't get caught up on the term black. Call me African. I don't get caught up on the term black, because Lord knows what that means in 2019, right? But nonetheless, we all know that many of us, from from what they called so-called oppressed populations, so-called marginalized populations. And I say so-called for a reason. You already know how I use the term, so don't be getting in your feelings. But nonetheless, we go through so much. If you're anything like me, grew up in the Bronx in New York City, grew up in a time where the 1980s crack epidemic was serious, grew up in a time you see people nodding off, saw cops beating the hell out of people, shooting people, pretty much what you see today in some areas. But in New York City, imagine what we experiencing right now magnified, right? Everybody was poor. Like your neighbor could have been acting like they were rich, but they were poor too, right? There was a lot of issues that we went through in the 80s. But I'm alive. I didn't kill myself. My mother didn't kill herself. Friends didn't kill themselves. Neighbors didn't kill themselves. Half of us, more than half of us, almost all of us didn't kill ourselves. And he touches on that. And I love the way he did it. I love the way he did it. He breathed on it, then he went back into PC culture. After he talked about that, he went right into the PC culture. And I'm glad he addressed it. Because we all see right now what is going on in the Americas, the United States of America, what is going on in terms of political correctness. You are not allowed to say anything anymore. You are not allowed to say anything anymore, or you will lose your job. You will lose your status, your money, your position, whatever, your contracts, your agreements, whatever it is, you run the risk of losing it. If you say one thing and you said it 25 years ago, but all of a sudden you get a platform and somebody goes digging in your history and they come up with 25 years ago, you said something that they think is offensive, you will lose your livelihood. And he addressed that. He addressed that. And I'm glad he did, because there's so much censorship going on, even when it comes among us. I know he was talking about a lot of people in the industry. I know he was referencing that a lot, meaning in that area, he's talking about how he had to censor or decide whether or not he was going to be a comedian or not be a comedian, but he had to decide whether or not he was going to do a lot of stand-ups or he was going to parlay, because he knows that whatever I say, I'm going to be under the magnifying glass. I'm going to be scrutinized. I'm going to be criticized. And I run the potential of losing my career, because he's seeing what happened to Bill Cosby. He's seeing what is happening to Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, you name all the people. He's seeing what is happening to these people, and they're only happening to black people. Black people. What was the name of that guy? Matt Lauder, something like that. Remember that news anchor? When he came out and Fox, I think it was Fox or whatever the case is, fired him. We never heard about this guy anymore. I bet you he's still making a pretty penny. I bet you he's still making his money. Ain't nothing happened to him, because we know in our community that we do what he did, we'll be in jail. If we did what he did, we'll have the book thrown at. We'll be under the cell. We won't get another job in our life. We'll probably even lose our mortgage, lose our house and everything else. We'll probably even lose our family, even our family attorney. You dry up the money. If you risk bringing in the money, even your family will turn on you. We got it bad from both ends, people. We got it bad from both ends. And the fact that he was addressing that, basically saying that PC culture, yeah. We know PC culture, everybody's being scrutinized, but not everybody like us. And he so subtly talked about it. It was tacit the way he did it. You got to be able to pin these things together, piece all the pieces of the puzzle together so you can understand what he's talking about. But that is the truth. Because not only did he talk about PC culture, you know, he says, you guys are the ones taking people's jobs. We got to be careful. He went right into Michael Jackson and how Michael Jackson has been dead, I believe, since 2009, if I'm not mistaken. He was murdered. Yes, he was. We're going to say it like it is. Don't sugarcoat nothing. He was murdered, I believe, in 2009. And he is still on trial to this day. But stuff that he has been released of, they're still trying him today. And maybe not in the court of law, but in the court of public opinion. He is still being tried today. The documentaries, he talked about the documentary, how it was ridiculous. I never saw it. I am not going to see it, right? But he talks about that. Because that's what this PC culture will do to you. So he's pretty much letting us know, listen, Listen, you don't see me out here like this. He didn't say it, but this is what I got from it. You don't see me out here like this because I'm gonna mess around and say some stuff, and they're gonna take my whole goddamn livelihood. My kids and wife is gonna be on the street. He didn't say that, but that's how I read it. He's basically saying, you see what they're doing to Michael. He got 2 new cases. He's dead. They come out saying all types of ridiculous things. The man can't defend himself. They're trying to change in your head the narrative of who he is, destroying him. And guess what? It's residual. Not only will they destroy him, they're going to destroy anybody attached to him. All that stuff is residual. We already know how that works. Once you destroy one Jackson, you destroy all of them. We already know how the system works. So he's basically saying, look, this PC culture is getting out of control. I'm not entertaining it. I'm going to lay low for as long as I can, because you say the wrong thing, you get hemmed up. But I like the way he says it so subtly. We have to be able to pick it up. Here's the thing. A lot of people got offended with the victim blaming stuff. Now, in his comedy, he said, I'm sorry. He said, I'm a victim blamer. And I know people are like, oh, you see what he said? People are ridiculous because they're not thinking. Now, do I think that Dave Chapelle walks around blaming the victim? No, not necessarily. But basically what he's saying is this culture, there's a lot of victim blamers in this culture. He just put it on him, right? That's just like a strategy that we use in counseling. Now, y'all know, for those of you guys who don't know who I am a licensed counselor in the state of New Jersey. I specialize in relationships, everything relationships, couples, marriage, same-sex relationships, everything relationships. That's what I specialize in, okay? And so there's a strategy, a technique that we use when we're able to pick up something, but we know that what we're picking up, the person is not ready to hear it because they still have a weak ego. And not ego how you think of ego. We use ego in a different sense. But they have a weak ego, so we have to build it up. We have to make it stronger. So we say certain things in a strategic way to paint the picture for them, to get their brains thinking, but we know exactly what we're talking about, but we can't say it directly because it might hurt somebody's feelings. That's exactly what he did when he talked on victim blaming. He used the I. I am a victim blamer, as opposed to saying half of y'all out there constantly blame the victims. That's how I took it, because that's a strategy and a technique that we use to lessen the blow so that you won't get offended or defensive. He's so intelligent. He is so intelligent. This man is a genius. He is a genius. And that's what happens in this culture. We do have a lot of victim blaming, right? Like he said, when he said, Chris Brown beat up Rihanna. And he said, well, what did she do? But people got offended. He's promoting intimate partner violence. He's promoting domestic violence. No, a lot of people think like that. A lot of people have that mindset. And look, whether y'all admit it or not, a lot of us got that mindset. A lot of us got that mindset. Now, I'm not here saying whether your mindset is right or wrong. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But a lot of us have that mindset. We hear something like, I'm not saying I'm promoting hitting women, but, what did she do? Was she showing off? Did she strike him? Did she hit him? Right? We have that mindset. But how many people pick that up? How many people pick that up? When I first heard it, I was like, oh, God. Oh, Lord, this is going to make people mad, cringe. Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. But I was eating my popcorn. Waiting. But when I sat down, I watched it like 2 or 3 times. When I sat back and I started analyzing it, I said, this guy is a genius. This guy is a genius. He's addressing everybody. He's so genius. Let me even explain to you guys how he then went into the Kevin Hart situation. I remember when Kevin Hart had tweeted what did Kevin Hart say? That if his son was gay, he'll smash your dollhouse or whatever, something like that over his head, right? And he strategically, think about it, he strategically used his platform to put context and meaning behind the joke that Kevin Hart was saying. It may have been a poor joke, a poor tasting joke, right? It may have offended people. I'm sure it did. I know it has because he received backlash. But what he was trying to do was use his platform, in my opinion, to bring light to what it was. It was a joke, meaning we are artists, we are comedians. We make fun of a lot of things. We make fun of a lot of taboo issues that other people are too afraid to talk about. But because of this PC culture, we can't even do that. We can't even use our expression because people get their feelings hurt all the time. All the time. And like he said, yes, Fred, who has a dollhouse? He was basically, if you really think about how he broke it down, he analyzed it so much. He said, basically, if you're taking this, what he said, if you're taking what Kevin Hart said so literally, then that means that he would have to go out, spend money to buy his son a dollhouse to come home to smash it over his head. It was a joke. But he didn't say it in a way where like he became defensive and was defending Kevin Hart. He was using his platform to put meaning in it. And then he went in to be able to tell his own story. Isn't that genius? Isn't that genius? Because when he left the Dave Chapelle show, we all were like, what happened to Dave Chapelle? I know how that happened is because my brother, you can go check the credits if you want to. Shonna is how you spell it, Butler. Check the Dave Chapelle credits. And those of you guys who've been following me on social media for a long time, y'all know who my brother is. But he used to work at the Dave Chapelle show with them. And so when that show ended, it ended. It was like, whoop, for a lot of people. And he went in hiding. He went away. He went incognito. And what he did was provide some light through his own narrative. Now, he didn't say, well, when I left, this is what happened. No, he didn't say it like that. He used his experience through comedy to tell us and bust so many words that he refused to compromise on his artistic nature. He refused to compromise on his gift, on his talent. He refused to compromise. I wish we had more Negroes out there that was refusing to compromise. Let me say this. I don't have anything against somebody getting a platform on television. I don't have anybody going to get a platform on mass media. I don't. What I have issues with is when you don't use that platform to stay authentic. When you bend and mold and shape because you are now afraid of losing your livelihood. You are now afraid of losing your butter biscuits and your money. That's when I have a problem. But when you can use your platform as a way to get information out there and to stay true to who you are, then I'm all for you. And that's exactly what he did. That's essentially what he did. What he went on to say about his experience over at the network when he had the Dave Chapelle show, he was basically saying that he had got called into the office. It's these people that, you know, they tell you what you're going to say and what you're not going to say. And he got called in the office, and the lady told him that he could not use the word faggot because he was using the word faggot in a lot of his skits. And so he was like, "Oh, okay, cool, no problem." He said he turned around, he was walking out the room, and then it dawned on him. He turned around, he said, "So why can't I use the word nigger without impunity? Why can I use this word so freely?" And then the lady said to him, "Because Dave, you're not gay." So she was basically saying that you're not gay, so you can't use the word faggot. But his pushback was, 100. His pushback was, but I'm not a nigga either. And you see, the message that I got from that was media is okay with us destroying ourselves. They will let it happen. They'll give you the gun to pull the trigger. They'll give you the rope to hang yourself. They don't mind that happen because they like to see our community get destructed over and over again. You build it up, deconstruct it, build it up, deconstruct it. That's what's happening. And we see it constantly. And that's pretty much what he was saying. They're okay with us saying whatever we have to say that's so-called derogatory, one of those words that you can't use, right? But they're not okay with you using it to describe anybody else. Why? Because the message I got out of that is that the white people, the powers that be, control the networks and they control the narrative. And as long as they control the narrative and the networks, they get to censor what you're going to say and do. Now, you can say and do anything you want to do about your people, but you can't talk about us. You can't say anything about Jewish people. You cannot say anything about the LGBTQAI community. You can't say anything about what else? I mean, come on, y'all tell me, you can't say anything about the Catholics, right? You start calling them priests pedophiles, you'll see how many people get mad. You start questioning why they worship statues, you'll see how many people listen. The archdice ain't no joke. Don't ever get it twisted. The archdice will destroy you too. Don't think because they hide behind a cross, they won't put a bullet in you either. Without a doubt. So basically, that's what he was saying. He's learned from his experience and being on these platforms that he has learned. As long as they look at you as an animal, less than humans, they look at you as a nigga, you can't say whatever you want to say about them. You could destroy your own community because we don't see you as human. We don't see you as equal. We don't see you as superior. So you could do whatever. As long as it makes us laugh. As long as it makes us money. As long as it doesn't harm us or our children, our families. You can do whatever. But the minute what you do starts spilling over to our community, we're going to have to stop you. And we know that. Yes, JB, power equals control. Power equals control, absolutely. So he went on to talk about that. And then the minute he talked about how the whites control the networks, the whites control the media, he never used the word whites. This is Dr. Shonna saying that. He talked about that. He immediately transitioned into, he called them the alphabet people. He's talking about the LGBT is what he said. He later added on Q. But those of us who work in the industry, who work in that field, we know they now have A and I added on. So now it's the LGBTQAI community. He talked about that. And he made a little joke about it, but not in a way that how he used to make jokes about the alphabet people, according to Dave Chapelle. What he said was, he talked about how we tend to think that they're all one movement, but they're not. They're just riding in the same car. Let me tell you what I picked up on that. So I'm going to get into that for a second. But let me see that. The subliminal that I picked up when I heard him say that, where he said, we may think they're all part of the same community, but they're not. They're just riding in the same car. I love that he did that. Even though he picked out the LGBTQAI community, even though he picked out them, what he said applies to so many other communities but our own. Oh, you guys missed that. Did any of you guys miss that? Well, let me break it down for you. Asians, we always say the Asian community, but Asians consist of Filipinos, Koreans, Japanese, Chinese, we can go on and on and on of all the Asians. I just named to you the main ones, right? But there's so many different Malaysians, there's so many different Asian people. But when we see them as a whole entity. But if you live in the community, like I live in an Asian community, if you live in a community, then you will know there's a lot of division among them. They're just not going to let your ass see. Same thing with the LGBTQ community. There's a lot of division among them. And I love the way he did that. He is genius, damn it. He's genius. I love the way he did that. There's a lot of division among them too, but they're not going to let you see it. because they have one aim, one goal, one focus. So for me, what I got out of that, and I'm not saying that this is what he specifically was trying to do, but what I got on with it was, look at how these people can stay together. We think is a one movement, but they're all divided. We need to get it together, brothers and sisters. The fact that he had the RBG, the fact that he had the red, the black, and the green lets me know the message really is for us. In my opinion, the message really is for us. What he is saying is, we've got to learn how to move like them. He only chose one population to talk about. He could have talked about whites. He could have talked about whites. But he didn't, because that would have been specific to a certain type of people. Whereas the LGBTQ makes up Asians, makes up whites, makes up Hispanics, makes up blacks, it makes up a whole bunch of different people. So he didn't point it down to race, because race is a very sensitive issue in America. He put it all in the LGBTQ and removed race out of it. But the message is really for us to be, what I always say, y'all, hashtag what? On code. The message is for us to be on code. So many people spent their time getting offended about what the jokes that he was telling about the LGBTQ community, right? They spent their time being offended, but I wasn't offended. When I heard him say that, I put the popcorn down, and I got the pen and the paper, and I started to take notes. I was like, whoa, oh shoot. See, that's how we have to move. We have to move that way. We got to do it like in the Green Book days, right? But now the Green Book is on social media. We got to move strategically, right? We got to learn how to get the information to our people on the slick. We got to move like Marcus Garvey. How when they banned his paper, he was smuggling his paper to get it to us, because we understand propaganda is so important. We understand the power of that. We understand that media is so important to get information out to the people, to disseminate information to the people. Everybody who knows about movements understands that. And for me, that was his message. That was his message. For me. For me. So after he talks about the LGBTQAI population, he goes into the transgender issue. Ooh, y'all must have missed something in there. Some of y'all, not all of y'all, not all of y'all. I love this page. I don't know how much I really love y'all, because y'all be on it. And I haven't had to delete and ban nobody in a very long time. Y'all just a beautiful community. We don't always agree with each other, and that's fine. But we respectful. We respectful. Y'all be on it. I love y'all intelligence. Did y'all pick up the transgender issues he had brought up? Did you pick it up? See, he did it in a joking manner, saying that the L, the G, and the B don't even like the transgender people, right? Because they don't even understand the concept. And he's saying it as a joke, but what he's really saying is, this is going to get messy across all lines in America. Y'all just be ready for it. See, he focused on transgender, and so many people focus in there, but it's bigger than that. And you know why I know it's bigger than that? Because he said, that's just like if I got caught in this body and I believe I'm Asian and I'm caught in this nigga's body. And he walks around and he started making fun of like the way Asians like, hiya, they're like making fun of that, which was hilarious to me. But he walks around and said, what if I was doing that all day? Hiya, how you doing? Thank you, thank you. He said, what if I was doing that all day, but I'm in this black body? It will confuse people, right? That's Rachel Dolezal. That's Rachel Dolezal. But he's also saying that everybody else can do that, but we can't. You can't walk around and say that you white. America will put your ass in a loony bin. Now, only those who can pass for white can do that. Only those that can slip through the cracks. Because we know we come in all shades in our bloodline. We produce all shades of people. I've even seen two dark brown people make a light-skinned person. We produce anybody. Some of our kids got straight hair, curly hair. Some of our kids got kinky hair. We produce everybody. But if you look black, or as my grandmother say, I'm not black, I'm Negro. That's my grandma say, I'm Negro. If you look Negro, if you look black, if you look colored, Can you walk around and say that you are white? Can you walk around and say that you are Asian? Will people accept you saying that you're transracial? Will they accept you saying that? Then he also talked about sports without even saying it, even though he used the transgender as a catch-all for the comedy. But he's basically saying, look, if somebody wants to be a woman and go into, they're a man, but they want to be a woman, they go play for the WNBA, would it be fair for the people who are born female and their body naturally is not as lean, not as fast, not as strong as a man? Would it be fair for them? Instead of saying it that way, he did it strategically. So there's a lot of issues he was talking about, but using it through joke. So after he talks about the transgender situation, where he's talking about more than that, I don't know if many people seen that he even slipped in a little bit of interracial relationships and the challenges that they go through. Who missed that one? Who missed that one? See, because he said, when he started to say, what if I was an Asian, what if I thought I was an Asian man in this black body? And he started making fun of it. He strategically said, my wife does not like that joke because she's Asian. What does that mean? See, it may look so innocent. It may look so simple if you keep it on the surface. But if you take it deeper and you analyze it, he's basically sharing some of the struggles in their relationship. Because in a lot of interracial relationships, when it comes to race, ethnicity, culture, it gets a lot of tension in their relationships. It's a lot of tension. This is not a kumbaya situation. It's work in interracial relationships. And so he says, you know, she goes on to say that he should change the skit. She doesn't think it's funny. He said, you know, and I just changed the subject. And I just asked the kids, well, how was your day? He starts talking to the children. Aha, did you catch that? Did you catch that? Now, I'm not going to start analyzing his relationship, right? He gives his wife all due credit and all due respect, in which he should. Regardless of who he's married to, he should. It's his wife. He chose her. We don't choose people's spouses for them. He chose her, so he should. But I caught that, and maybe because I do relationships. I've been doing relationships for many years. So maybe it's because I specialize in this area. I'm continuously going to different trainings and stuff regarding relationships and the science behind relationships. All of my doctoral studies centered on relationships. So maybe because that's how I am, how my brain functions when I think about relationships. That's why y'all don't see me get on here and tear anybody else in the community that's doing the work. I don't tear them apart. I may not agree with everybody. I may not like everybody, but you don't see me say anything because relationships are essential in what we're trying to do. So when I heard him say that, I caught on to that. And he led us into the relationship issue between him and his wife. That's just my opinion. Now let's go into this area. After he talks about the transgender issue, it was brilliant how he now transitioned into the Me Too movement. See, I ain't got enough time. I gotta get off of this thing. I have so much to talk about, but I don't have enough time. I gotta really get off. I got somebody coming in soon. I gotta really get off. Nick, if you watching, just let me know. Just put your 5 o'clock is here so I can know. So I can know when to get my ass off of this. But nonetheless, because you know she be late half the time, so she's here just for your 5 o'clock is here, and I'm gonna have to come on and talk to you guys later. I just try to get it in, but I'm telling you, I know my mind goes deep. My mind goes deep. He transitioned into the Me Too movement after he talked about the transgender, and what I liked what he said was, "I get it," and I'm paraphrasing here. He said, "I get it. It's not that I disagree with what you guys are saying, but you're going about it the wrong way." You're going about it the wrong way. He's basically saying y'all got to be a little bit more strategic and analytical in how you operate the Me Too movement. Because what's going to happen is it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And that's exactly what's happening, because after he addressed how the Me Too movement, they're going about it the wrong way, because they're taking everything, they're blowing everything up out of proportion. They're trying to bring everybody down, but they don't understand that they're playing the white man's game. Like my mother used to say, this is a white man's world. This is the white man's world. You better know how to play his game. You on his chessboard. And see, not many people grow with a mom or a dad that says things like that. But a lot of us on this page, we do. We do. A lot of us got more things in common than we have different. We do. And that was my mother's favorite thing. You better know how to play how they play. This is their chessboard. She said, you can't beat them, join them. Those are things my mother used to say. And that's exactly what he's saying to the Me Too people. You got to be very careful, because they're going to find a way to get your ass back. And no sooner did he say that, he brilliantly transitioned into the anti-abortion laws. Did y'all catch that? The minute he talked about the Me Too movement going about it the wrong way, he transitioned into the anti-abortion laws. Did y'all catch that? You already know. You already know how things are getting crazy. See, it's like the white males are saying, okay, you check me here, I'ma check you here. Now it's checkmate. Oh, you want to talk about that? You ain't gonna be able to kill no more babies. No more babies. But yet and still, a lot of the people that got offended about what he said, he said, I'm not for abortion. Then he said, but I'm not against it either. It depends on who I got pregnant. Ooh, did y'all catch that? He was getting on everybody. Everybody. He held back no punches. He took no prisoners. He was getting on everybody was getting slaughtered. Ooh, I caught that with a mitt. Had a mitt on. I was like, whoa, whoa. Yeah, you see, we thought he was just talking about the anti-abortion laws just as it refers to women. He's talking about how I believe in abortion, depends on who I get pregnant. But I like the way he said, fellas, leave it alone. Let her decide. He was giving a message to you, black men, to be wise. To be wise. Because these anti-abortion laws are going to affect that situation too. And you're going to be paying child support. Even though he made the joke, like, if you get to choose, we got to be fair. If you get to choose whether or not you want to have the child, can I choose whether or not I want to pay child support? Even though he was making a joke, but it's basically the message is saying to you, you're going to get hemmed up, black man. You're going to get hemmed up. You got to be smarter with the way you move it. If you can't see yourself with her, if you can't see yourself taking care of them children, you better think. Because sooner or later, abortion is going to hit home. It's going to hit close to home. The anti-abortion laws are going to hit close to home. You're not going to be able to use these abortions like it's birth control, like it's candy, like you just wake up and got an option. Y'all got to get off of here. My 5 o'clock is here. Got my 5 o'clock is here. Thank you, Nick. So you got to be strategic. And you got to be able to listen. I'm telling you, go back and watch it 2 or 3 times and watch it and with the mindset that I always talk about on this page. I want us to question everybody and everything. Why? That's the only question I want you to ask. Why? With that question, you can find out a lot of things about people. Why? Why did he say it that way? Why did he go in that order? And the reason why I put it in that framework is because the red, the black, and the green. Man, look. Yes, Telly, it's time for me to go. I gotta go. It's 5:06. She on time today. I don't know why she on time today. She be all late every other time. She been with me forever. I love that girl out there. Let me go on and work with my people. I gotta go. But let me tell you something. It's gonna be a part 2. I'm gonna come back on. I'm gonna do a part 2 right after my 6 o'clock leave, so 7 o'clock. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time. I'm gonna come on. I'm gonna do a part 2 tonight before I go on home. If my brother says it's okay, Nick is here. If he says it's okay, I'm gonna do a part 2 because we gotta talk about the mass shootings, We got to talk about disarming white America. Oh, part two is going to be deep, y'all. It's going to be deep. I just breezed over the anti-abortion law stuff, but y'all get it. Y'all get it. You got to think of everything. Who is he really talking to? We know he offended a lot of people, but who is he really talking to? That's all I got for you right now. I got to go. Until later on today, I want to say to you guys, the red, the black, and the green. The red, the black, and the green. If only he replaced that C with the fist, he might have lost his job. But the red, the black, and the green. Understanding who he's talking to. Understand that. I'll speak to you guys soon, later on today. Peace and blessings.